Wait, what? So you're telling me that you want to work as a robotic software developer and you're still using Windows operating system? Are you even serious right now? Do you have any idea how silly that sounds? Well, on a serious note, in this video, I'll be giving you the reasons why you should be switching to Ubuntu operating system if you want to work as a robotic software developer in the industry. So, the number one reason and the most important reason that is in your own benefit is that most robotics companies require you to have some experience working with Linux or Ubuntu operating system. You need to be familiar with the Linux ecosystem. You need to be familiar with the command line interface. You need to know all the commands that you would write on the terminal. You need to know how it looks like. You need to know how to code in that interface and all of these different things. And there are a lot of other reasons, a lot of which we would look at right now. So let me share my screen and let's dive right into it. So the number one reason is that Ubuntu is first of all open source, it's customizable, it's available free of cost, and it is the preferred choice for every software developer and most software developer roles, in particular robotic software development profiles. Of course, other versions of Linux like Linux Mint and other Linux, Kali Linux, and all these versions are also available. Arch Linux, if you're really a hardcore software developer, you would have come across these Linux versions as well. But for robotics in particular, Ubuntu is the most widely used, and there are reasons for that. So of course, I talked about the fact that it's open source, it's customizable, it's free of cost. But the main reason why Ubuntu is the preferred choice for roboticists is because Robot Operating System, or ROS, which is a framework that you have probably come across or you're familiar with, was built on top of Ubuntu. So it is really highly compatible with the Ubuntu ecosystem and the Ubuntu framework, and it works really seamlessly in that operating system. Whereas with Windows, of course, with the newer version of ROS or ROS 2, Humble and Jazzy, these are also well supported in the Windows operating system, but they were built, but ROS was primarily built on top of Ubuntu. So it's still the primary operating system that ROS developers recommend is still Ubuntu. So this is a very, very important thing to keep in mind. And of course, I've talked about the fact that most companies prefer you to have Ubuntu experience or Linux experience, and this should be a strong enough reason for you to already switch to Ubuntu operating system if you have had some doubts about it. Okay, so this is about it. And a lot of artificial intelligence projects are actually very well supported on the Ubuntu ecosystem, and they might have some issues on Windows or even a MacBook. And Ubuntu has a very strong community, a very strong open source development background and community. So the support is really phenomenal there, and it has a very strong interface. So it has a very strong ecosystem, and it has a lot of different resources and software utilities, applications that Ubuntu developers come up with time and again. And this makes the overall experience of working with Ubuntu really smooth. Whenever a software or an operating system or any utility is open source, and there's a huge community underlying it, the power underneath it is really phenomenal, because people are really passionate about open source development, and they really want to see these projects grow and gain popularity. So this is really an important thing to consider. ROS integration, of course, stability and compatibility with robotics projects. It is really stable. It has unparalleled stability, which is a crucial factor for building complex robotics projects. Open source ecosystem. It has a really strong community that allows collaboration and contribution to different projects that are based on Ubuntu. Its package management system is really robust. If you have been working with Ubuntu, you're probably familiar with apt. You have probably been typing sudo apt get update, sudo apt get uh, upgrade. You have been installing applications using apt, and so this package management support is really phenomenal with Ubuntu. It has real time capabilities, and it is very responsive for robotics applications, and it is particularly suitable for robotics control scenarios which require you to have real time communication with different hardware and software interfaces. It is secure. Security is paramount in robotics, and Ubuntu addresses this concern with a lot of security features as well. Not going into too much depth, it is free and open source, and it has extended support for sensors, actuators, and other robotics peripherals. So, in short, if you want to work in robotics software development and as a professional, not talking about if you just want to do some hobby projects, you can choose whichever operating system that you really fancy. But if you want to work in the industry, this is a skill that they would definitely look for. If you have experience working with Linux, this is a huge add on. And in fact, this is considered to be a basic skill. This is considered to be a preliminary foundational skill that you need to have experience with now. Um, Lastly, let me give you a few pointers, or a sneak peek to my course, Become a Professional Robotics Software Engineer. So this is the skilled professional plan that I'm currently sharing, and in this plan there are, of course, monthly modules on mindset cultivation, mathematics foundation, software development, programming, robotics and AI, and then there are different projects. I think you can find all of these details on the official course landing page, so I wouldn't go into too much depth. What I want to share is that we have dedicated sections on helping you set up your system, as you are probably very new to Ubuntu and the Linux ecosystem. I help you in a step by step manner, providing you with the right resources to install Ubuntu as a dual boot system, or also on Windows as a separate subsystem. And there are other different ways that I have given proper step by step guidance for, that would help you really install Ubuntu operating system and get familiar with it, and then start building your foundational programming skills and start building projects on top of that. So that is it. If you're looking for transitioning to robotic software engineering, I would encourage that you check out the website learnroboticsandai.com. First of all, it has a lot of free resources, and secondly, if you go click on start your journey, you will be able to find details about the course. There are a lot of background there's a lot of background information about the curriculum. All of these things are shared, what we have been doing, what you can expect. There's a huge community, there are monthly Q&A sessions and so on. So there's a lot. I wouldn't go into too much details. If you're interested in really taking your robotics journey to the next level, and if you actually want to work at a company, this is a very minimal investment that you can do towards building your skill set that would help you lifelong towards building a really meaningful career in the robotics industry.